a very important aspect now I will be discussing about the rights and obligation of the government. I have discussed earlier that what are the rights of a government and what are the obligations of medical and paramedical staff, and in this slide we will be discussing what are the obligations of the government and what are the rights of the paramedical staff. So, first we will understand what is negligence. So, this is the acceptable definition of a negligence. This definition has been upheld by the various textbooks of tort as well as by the various decisions of the Supreme Court, that negligence is the omission to do something which a reasonable man would do, or doing something which a prudent man or reasonable man would not do. I will simplify this. So, negligence is the omission to do something which a reasonable man would do. जो करना चाहिए था वो नहीं किया. This was supposed to be done by a reasonable man, but he is not doing that. Then it is a negligence. Or doing something which a prudent or reasonable man would not do. A person does something which a reasonable man will not do. I mean to say, when it is your doorbell, and that doorbell, you have some electricity going on over there. I mean to say, you put a 440 volt at your bell and say that, okay, it is my personal property and this is my bell and I have put a current over there, this is my right. No, this will not, this is not going to sustain, because any reasonable man will think that anybody who will press the doorbell will suffer from the current or from the electrical shock. So, if a person is doing that, it is negligence. So, the whole criteria revolves around what a reasonable man is doing in that particular condition. नहीं करना चाहिए था और कर दिया तो भी नेग्लिजेंस है, और करना चाहिए था और नहीं किया तो भी नेग्लिजेंस है. ओके. So, now any reasonable person or government or organization should provide basic personal protective equipment, because we are talking of social distancing. We are saying maintain a distance of 3 feet at least, 1 meter apart, even more than that if it is permitted. Do not go in the crowded places, avoid infection. All those things are being said in media, and this is fair enough also. These are the guidelines also. So, if you are sending a person, a medical or a paramedical staff, into the ward which is populated by corona patients, then what a reasonable man would do? Reasonable man will provide a particular protection to that person so that this person is not getting infected. If a person is being sent to these wards, so she must get the personal protective equipment as per the guidelines of World Health Organization or any equivalent organization which is having that kind of stature. It is the obligation to provide, because any reasonable man, if sending somebody into the zone of danger, it is his obligation, it is his duty. Before sending, that person should be protected by the proper equipment. So, it is the obligation of the government to provide this. And if any organization or any person or any government, any NGO is not doing this, it will be classified as the negligence. What if a person is having personal protective equipment and still that person catches the infection? So, in that case, if anyone catches the infection in spite of standard is important, you cannot supply substandard. So, if anyone catches infection in spite of standard personal protective equipment, then it is not classified as negligence, because appropriate reasonable measures have been taken. So, I hope I am clear that if a doctor or a paramedical staff is being asked to work in corona ward or in isolation ward or in similar way to prevent outbreak or spread of the disease, the person has to go for that duty, but at the same time government obligation is to provide the person a standard personal protective equipment. And if a person catches infection in spite of that personal protective equipment, then it will not be classified as negligence.